Youth is not a number marked on the calendar, but a frequency of vibration that you choose to sustain each day. When you learn to re-establish the inner image, when you hand to the subconscious the blueprint of vitality, the body will obediently construct a new reality. This is no longer an idle promise, but a spiritual law that has operated through generations. On this journey, you will see clearly that youth is the harmony of imagination, uplifting verse, forgiveness, faith, and discipline. And once you hold this key, time ceases to be an enemy and becomes instead a ceaseless stream of restoration. The secret prologue to eternal youth. Youth is a vibration of the spirit. The body reflects the beliefs and inner images, and renewal is a spiritual law already present, not a miracle yet to come. Youth is not written in the pages of a calendar, nor is it a tally of passing years. It is a spiritual vibration, a rhythm of life that springs from the depths of consciousness itself. There are those in their 20s who already feel weary, old and dry, and there are those in their 80s who walk serenely with clear minds and radiant eyes. The difference is not in time, but in the image they nurture within. If in your subconscious you engrave the thought that you are fading, that age is an enemy, then your body will faithfully reproduce that picture every day. But if you sow into it the belief that life within you is indestructible, that youth is the very essence of the soul, then your body will stand as proof of an infallible spiritual law, the law of renewal. Every cell in your body is a silent worker. It does not know the clock on the wall. It does not count the wrinkles on your skin. It only responds to the command given from the mind, and this mind is where you hold the power of choice, where you may draw a new blueprint of eternal youth. People often believe that agelessness is a miracle, a gift reserved for the rare few, but the truth is, it rests in the very law of life itself. Like the river that flows without end, the water is always new because it never ceases. So it is with your body ever renewing, ever replenishing. Each day, millions of old cells die and millions of new ones are born. The only thing that determines the quality of that renewal is the picture you paint in your mind. If that picture is shadowed and bleak, the body produces weakened cells. If that picture is filled with light, each new cell is infused with the vitality of springtime. Look at a seed. Within its small shell already lies the fullness of the garden. No one doubts that it will sprout, grow, bloom, and bear fruit. Why then should we doubt the spiritual seeds we plant within the subconscious? If you sow thoughts of decline, the harvest will be decay. If you sow the image of youth, the harvest will be renewal. This is not illusion. It is the unchanging law of life. Renewal is the law. As sure as the rising of the sun, as sure as the ceaseless beating of your heart. The only question is whether you align your mind with that law. Within every human being flows a pure hidden spring. In youth, we sense it easily, but as years pass, the dust of doubt, fear, and the weight of society's prejudice begins to cover it. We are taught that age is decline, that the body is an hourglass running out of sand, but spiritual law does not answer to prejudice. It answers only to the image you hold in faith. If you truly believe that the life within you is eternal, then the body will inevitably seek to manifest that belief outwardly. Observe those who keep their fervent spirit. Even in later years, they never speak of weakness. They never dwell on limits. Instead, they speak of joy, of projects, of love for life. Their very language, their very thoughts are the command that directs the subconscious to produce vitality. Youth, in truth, is an idea, a vibration of the spirit, and this idea is always present When you grasp it, you enter the stream of eternity. Your body will follow, for it is but a faithful mirror of the spirit. Thus, the secret of youth is not found in elixirs, nor in outer methods, but in the choice of what image you sow in the mind. The day you abandon the language of decline is the day you begin a new symphony for the body. Every thought you send into the subconscious is like a musical score, and the body is the orchestra that will play it. Let that music be the anthem of youth, fresh, radiant, overflowing with energy. Then you will see that youth never abandoned you. It only awaited the moment you opened the door of the spirit for it to return. And once that door is open, renewal is no longer a fragile hope, but the evident truth of the law of life, the law of renewal and the role of the subconscious. The subconscious makes no distinction between what is real and what is imagined. The image of youth activates repair and restoration. Biological evidence of cellular regeneration cycles and Carroll's research strengthen this truth. The law of renewal is one of the most silent yet most powerful truths governing human life. It does not wait for your recognition to begin. It is operating every moment. Within your very body, millions of old cells are departing while millions of new cells are being born. Your blood is renewed. Your skin is renewed. The lining of your stomach is replaced in just a few days. And the entire body is recreated through cyclical patterns. This is not remote theory, it is biological fact, demonstrated by science. Yet there is a wonder few consider. The quality of this renewal does not arise only from nutrition or outward conditions, but from the images you impress upon the subconscious. The subconscious does not know the difference between reality and imagination. It only accepts images charged with emotion and turns them into commands for every cell. If you constantly repeat in your mind that you are old, frail, and declining, the subconscious will accept that decree as truth, and the body will obey, producing cells marked with decay. But if you sow into it images of youth, vibrancy, and vitality, infused with faith and powerful emotion, the subconscious likewise obeys and issues signals for each cell to restore, rebuild, and renew itself in freshness. Can you see how the body becomes a perfect mirror, faithfully reflecting the picture you nourish within each day? The physiologist Alexis Carrel once astonished the world by keeping the heart cells of a chicken alive for nearly 30 years, simply by renewing their nutrient solution. The question then arises, if those cells could live so long under constant renewal, why should the human body wither so quickly? The answer lies not in the nature of the cells, but in the collective belief and imagery humanity has impressed upon the subconscious. We have been hypnotized into believing that old age means weakness, that time is an enemy, and the subconscious has engraved that belief into the private law of each individual. When you believe, you unknowingly issue a decree to your whole body. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, how do you usually picture yourself? Do you see yourself weary, bent, and slow of step, or do you see yourself vibrant, agile, and radiant? The image that arises most often in your mind is the very blueprint your subconscious will build from. If you truly observe, you will see that every change in the body begins first with an image, a belief. Thus, what matters is not your chronological age, but the image you allow to live in your mind. The body is the soil, the subconscious is the farmer, and the image you sow is the seed. If that seed is vitality, the harvest will be eternal youth. Remember, you hold in your hands a power not to be underestimated. When you imagine your cells as droplets of light, repairing, rebuilding, and renewing each organ, the subconscious receives that image as a command, and the body follows it precisely. When you attach to it the emotion of gratitude and trust, the subconscious engraves the command even deeper. This is not pretense or self-deception. It is the activation of the law of renewal already inherent within you. If one image can make you anxious and cause your heart to race, then another image can calm you, relax you, and heal you. Why not choose the image that grants you youth? Let me ask you now, if you close your eyes and picture your body as a garden in bloom, each cell as a fresh flower, can you not feel a gentle current of life force flowing through you? If you can, that is proof that your subconscious has begun to listen. And I know you are here, present, attentive, opening yourself to this new possibility. I thank you for allowing yourself to enter this conversation, for your very presence in this moment is already an act of planting a new seed in the mind. Nurture that seed with faith and persistence, and you will see the subconscious transform it into a springtime that never ends within your body. Social hypnosis of aging. Collective belief makes us equate age with decline. Specific examples of negative language cause the body to deteriorate under unconscious command. From the very moment a child enters the world with its first cry, it begins to absorb the collective suggestions about aging in stories, in reminders, even in everyday speech. Age is assumed to be synonymous with weakness. We hear elders tell one another that at a certain age memory must fade, the legs must slow, the eyes must grow dim. These messages seep deep into the subconscious like a form of hypnosis. And from that moment, the body knows only to obey. This is why so many, upon reaching middle age, suddenly feel decline, not because time has destroyed them overnight, but because their minds have submitted to a pre-written script. The subconscious does not reason. It does not argue. It only accepts and executes. When you hear again and again that old age is a burden, the subconscious engraves the decree and issues orders to every cell and function. The body merely reflects the belief it has received. In London, a man past 80 spent years repeating one familiar line. That man is born, grows, ages, and becomes useless. Each day he reinforced this belief with his words, and his body complied. His nerves weakened, his biochemistry deteriorated, and his vitality was drained away. He did not collapse because of the number written on the calendar, but because the negative image had been sown for too long in the subconscious. This is the clearest demonstration of the destructive power of social hypnosis. When language becomes a ritual of repetition, it functions like a curse, and the body loyally carries it out. The power of words and collective belief is reinforced by proverbs and sayings. The older you grow, the weaker you become, or you cannot learn well in your later years. These seemingly harmless lines drip like poison into the subconscious, persuading humanity that decline is natural. Yet no law of life decrees that age must bring pain or forgetfulness. The only law at work is the hypnotic suggestion society sustains. When the majority believes something, the force of collective belief becomes a wave that sweeps the individual along. If you are not awake, you will be drowned in that current. Modern science has confirmed that fear of time is itself the chief cause of many degenerative disorders. A study at the Corsi Clinic in Cincinnati revealed that those who lived in anxiety over aging manifested disease earlier, their bodies corroded by fear itself. They called this state nervous fear and recognized it as a major factor behind numerous degenerative conditions. This shows that decline does not arise from years, but from unconscious suggestion received and nurtured daily. A child raised in an environment where aging is spoken of as the final stop will, upon maturity, have a new power to question it. Pain, wrinkles, and decay are then received as inevitabilities when in truth they are but reenactments of belief. This is the most insidious form of social hypnosis, for it works silently, continually legitimized by the authority of inherited experience, yet history proves the opposite. Michelangelo painted the Sistine Chapel ceiling at 80. Newton worked with clarity until the end of his life. Goethe completed his masterpiece at 82. These men shattered the collective curse, not through physical strength, but by nurturing a different inner image. They refused the suggestion that old age is an ending. They chose to hold a creative script in mind, and the body had no choice but to obey. Their choice made them living witnesses to the law of renewal. The tragedy is that most people never realize they can choose. They passively accept a collective belief and unconsciously turn it into a command for their selves. When a community constantly speaks of sickness, the subconscious resonates like a crowd at a festival, and each body is swept along. This is the power of social hypnosis, and it explains why human beings collectively decline at similar ages. But once you see this mechanism, you also see that no one can force your consent. You may choose silence before collective suggestion and affirm for yourself another image. You may choose not to join the negative dialogue and instead nurture within a new script. This is not rebellion against society. It is the protection of the spirit. Like one who keeps his own stream of water pure, your body need not collapse simply because the crowd believes it must. It will answer the strongest voice repeated within your mind. If you choose the language of decline, it will wither. If you choose the language of renewal, it will be young. Social hypnosis of aging has power only when you grant it. Withdraw that power, and you will see your body return to its true nature. Renewal, vitality, eternal life, the law of substitution, and the supervision of inner dialogue. Replace fear with affirmations, record inherited beliefs, and write new formulas such as times age is only a number. My source of life is eternal. The law of substitution is one of the simplest yet most powerful principles shaping your life. The mind cannot remain empty. It must always cling to an image. If you nurture fear, it becomes a command impressed upon the subconscious and spreads into every cell, every heartbeat. But if you know how to replace fear with affirmations, to replace the image of decline with the image of youth, then the current of command changes direction, and the body begins to operate on a new frequency. The subconscious cannot distinguish between real and unreal. It only obeys the images repeated with emotion. This is why the language you use with yourself carries such power. When you say, "I am getting old," asterisk the subconscious registers. It is a decree. When you replace it with, "I am the radiant expression of eternal life," asterisk the subconscious also records it as law. And the body has no choice but to obey. To apply the law of substitution, you must first observe your inner dialogue. Each day, you speak silently to yourself hundreds of times, and most of those words pass without awareness. They may come as a sigh, as the thought times, "I am so tired," asterisk, or times, "I no longer have the strength I once had," asterisk. These small phrases seep like drops of water into the soil of the subconscious. Left unattended, they sprout into bitter weeds, but you can replace them with new seeds. Instead of saying, "Times I am weary," asterisk, declare, "Times life force is rising within me," asterisk. Instead of saying, "Times I am no longer young," asterisk, affirm, "Times age is only a number. The source of my life is eternal." Make it your practice to write down the old beliefs you unconsciously inherited from society or family. Perhaps it was times the older you grow, the weaker you become, asterisk, or times at a certain age, Learning no longer enters the mind. Asterisk, once written, you will see how bare they stand, easy to challenge. Right beside them, write new formulas of truth. The older I grow, the wiser I become. My mind is always open to the new. The source of my life is not bound by years. Asterisk, this is how you reprogram the subconscious. Write them over and over, at least 10 times, until the new statements feel natural, until your mind hears them as obvious truth. Then you know you have successfully planted the new seed. Remember, substitution must be continual, for the mind cannot endure a vacuum. When an old thought arises, do not struggle to drive it away. Simply replace it at once with a new image. If the thought times I am weakening, times appears, immediately declare times I am growing stronger every day. Asterisk. If you repeat this process long enough, the subconscious will accept the new image as its standard, and the body will transform accordingly. This is not theory. There are countless testimonies of people who recovered health simply by altering their inner dialogue. When they ceased repeating, times I am sick times, and replaced it with times health is flowing through me. Asterisk, the subconscious initiated natural healing mechanisms. This proves that every cell listens to the voice of the mind. Let me ask you, throughout a single day, how many times do you catch yourself whispering negative thoughts about age and health? And are you willing to begin replacing them today, sewing a new image into your subconscious? If you are truly ready, leave a comment with the words, times I am ready to change. Asterisk, or even type the number ×1, asterisk, so I may know you are present in this story. And consenting to step onto the path of renewal, I thank you for your presence, for only when you acknowledge your power of choice does the law of substitution begin to work within you. Now imagine how your life will change when every word you speak becomes a positive command to the subconscious. Picture a body guided by youthful declarations, a mind nourished by radiant images. This is the turning point where you abandon collective hypnosis and write your own program. And once you have truly mastered substitution, fear will find no place in you. Only faith will remain. Only the eternal current of life flowing through every breath, every step. Mental and environmental hygiene, selective filtering of media, stories, and advertisements. Practicing the shield of light before negative dialogue to safeguard the program of renewal. Mental hygiene is the foundation that protects every process of renewal. For if you allow the outer world to plant images of decline, then no matter how positive your affirmations or visualizations may be, the subconscious will still be eroded. Each day we're exposed to hundreds of messages through media, advertisements, and conversations, most of which subtly reinforce the belief that age equals weakness, slogans for anti-aging products, news reports highlighting the illnesses of the elderly, laments heard in friendly gatherings. All are streams of suggestion flowing steadily into the mind. Unless you choose carefully, the subconscious will take them as standards and begin engraving them. This is why guarding the mind is as vital as keeping the body clean. When you walk into a dusty room, you instinctively shield yourself from inhaling it. Likewise, you must have a defense mechanism when confronted with toxic words and images. One simple yet powerful technique is the practice of the shield of light. Before entering a negative conversation, imagine a radiant aura encircling you so that every discordant word that touches it slides off. Unable to penetrate the subconscious, you need not argue or oppose. Simply remain calm and refuse consent. It is like wearing a raincoat in the storm. The rain still falls, but it cannot drench you. Mental hygiene also means consciously selecting your input. If a television program fills you with fear of illness, turn it off and replace it with a book that uplifts the spirit. If a conversation revolves endlessly around aging, gently change the subject or sit in silence with inner strength. If an advertisement suggests that you are aging day by day, smile inwardly and affirm, "The source of my life is not bound by years, asterisk." This is not escapism. It is the deliberate choice of the reality you wish to nourish. The spiritual environment you create is the garden in which the subconscious plants its seeds. If you allow weeds to grow unchecked, positive seeds will struggle to take root. But if you tend the soil, remove the poisonous weeds, and continually water it with youthful imagery, the garden will flourish with vitality. Mental hygiene also extends to creating a wholesome physical environment, a bright, airy room, a quiet corner set aside for meditation or for reading spiritual works. All are signals to the subconscious that you honor life itself. For the physical environment and the mental environment always mirror one another. When your space is orderly, the mind is less chaotic. When you place an inspiring picture in your bedroom, the subconscious records it in the moments before sleep, when it is most receptive. Mental hygiene is not a one-time effort. It is daily discipline. Just as the body requires regular cleansing, the mind must be checked continually for what is being allowed to enter. Ask yourself, does this message nourish life, or does it sow fear within me? Does this story energize me, or does it leave me weary? Does this conversation open doors, or does it close possibilities? Each time you ask such questions, you strengthen the invisible fence around your subconscious. And once this habit is established, you will find your mind becoming clearer, lighter, and your body reflecting it with renewed freshness. No method of rejuvenation can endure if the environment you live in continually erodes you. Therefore, mental and environmental hygiene is the essential condition for every affirmation, every visualization, every prayer you practice to take root and bear fruit. When you know how to choose, how to shield, and how to create a pure space, you will find that the current of renewal within your body flows without interruption, an unbroken, eternal stream. The morning breath ritual with affirmation, breathing 7-4-8, with the declaration times divine energy saturates me. I radiate vitality and youth into every organ, asterisk anchoring body and mind. Morning is the golden hour when the mind is still pure, unshaken by the countless noises of the world. This is the perfect moment to impress upon the subconscious a new command, our youthful image, an affirmation of power. When you combine deep breathing with creative speech, you not only nourish the body with oxygen, but also send a spiritual signal to every cell. The 7-4-8 breath ritual is a simple yet wondrous doorway. You inhale for 7 counts, hold for 4 counts, then exhale for 8 counts. Each breath cycle is a new circulation, a cleansing of mind and body, and within each rhythm, you add the affirmation, divine energy saturates me. I radiate vitality and youth into every organ. As you inhale, picture a golden light streaming into your lungs, flooding your bloodstream with oxygen and life force. As you hold, feel your entire being charged with energy. As you exhale, imagine every toxin of thought, every worn-out image being swept away, leaving space for freshness. After 3 rounds, you will find that you are not breathing only with your lungs, but with your very soul. This combination has a unique power because it anchors body and mind together. Breath is the bridge between conscious and subconscious, between the visible and the invisible. When you add affirmation, you are engraving commands directly into the depths of being. This is not merely speaking words, it is issuing creative decrees. This is times the power of the voice. Within times, not just a sound you hear, but a sanctuary you return to. Each time you speak, you return to the dwelling place of the soul, where life never runs dry. Science has shown that deep breathing reduces cortisol, strengthens the immune system, and balances the nervous system. But beyond that, when joined with affirmation, it becomes a spiritual rite where each cell is reminded of its eternal nature. You may feel your heart beat slow, your body relax, yet at the same time your mind glows, alive with energy. This is the union of biology and spirit, the rhythm of the body married to the language of creation. Practice this ritual consistently, and you will enter each day with a different vitality. Instead of carrying the residue of yesterday, you carry a new blueprint for today. Every organ, lungs, heart, liver, skin, eyes, is as though washed clean and renewed under the command of youth. The body begins to function as an instrument in harmony with the mind. What matters most is not the number of repetitions, but your full presence within each breath. Feel each beat. Let the affirmation sink deep like water into soil. You need not strain, only trust that what you speak is already truth. The subconscious does not debate. It only accepts and makes it real. As you practice, you will discover something profound. You are not striving to become young again. You are allowing youth, the eternal essence, to rise forth. Youth is not something you chase, but something you release from beneath layers of suggestion. Each breath cycle is a brushing away of that dust, unveiling the inner spring. When the ritual ends, sit quietly for a few moments and feel the radiance expand. You will notice not only a lightness in the body, but a clarity of spirit, as though a mirror has been freshly polished. That is the moment you know you have begun a new day, not merely with the body, but with the soul, and the body will carry the imprint of that youthfulness throughout the day. This ritual, practiced daily, becomes a discipline, both simple and mighty. It requires no equipment, no lengthy hours, only presence and trust. Practice for 7 days, and you will sense the difference. Practice for 7 weeks, and it will become habit. Practice for 7 months, and you will realize that your body has written a new script where youth no longer depends on numbers but flows as the eternal current of life. And this is the deeper meaning of breathing with affirmation. It not only nourishes the lungs and blood, it rewrites the destiny of the spirit. It is not merely a morning exercise, but a declaration to yourself. The source of life within me is indestructible, and each new day is proof of the law of renewal at work. Radiant cellular visualization as foundation. Each cell is a worker of light responding to mental imagery. Persistent emotions can alter or regenerate tissue depending on their quality. The human body is not a soulless machine, nor merely a collection of flesh, blood, and bone. Within you are trillions of cells, and each one is like a worker of light. Laboring without pause, they listen to the signals of the mind and answer with tangible action building, repairing and renewing every tissue, every organ. The image you hold in your mind is the blueprint these workers will construct. If that image is one of weakness, the cells will display frailty. If that image is one of youth and strength, they will act as master artisans, breathing new vitality into the body. This is no exaggeration. Science has confirmed that emotions and mental imagery directly affect physiology. A prolonged surge of anger can weaken the immune system, while sustained joy can accelerate healing. This proves that persistent emotions can alter or regenerate tissue. Depending on their quality, each time you sink into fear, the body secretes toxins of the spirit that damage cells. Yet each time you sustain gratitude and youthful vision, the workers of light immediately set about restoration. Imagine each cell as a tiny droplet of light, waiting to receive the new design from the mind. When you envision them radiant, strong, and luminous, the subconscious delivers that image as command. The cells do not doubt, they do not hesitate, they only obey what has been inscribed. Therefore, your greatest responsibility is not to perform the work of the cells, but to send down the clearest blueprint. A pure, vital image will be reflected as a body that is resilient and strong. Remember, emotion is the glue-binding imagery to the subconscious. A vague picture has no power to move, but an image fused with strong emotion becomes an irreversible decree. When you picture your cells as workers of light, preparing every vessel, every muscle fiber, every layer of skin, do so with faith and joy, then the body receives the unmistakable message that youth is reality, not illusion. Something marvelous occurs when you repeat this visualization. Often, not only does the body change, but your very outlook on life transforms. You begin to feel yourself living in a renewed body, and that leads you to choose better habits, to eat with more balance, to live with greater clarity. This harmony creates an upward spiral where the mind nourishes the body and the body mirrors youth back to the mind. Try sitting in stillness, closing your eyes, and envisioning an army of light. Within each cell is a tiny lamp, glowing bright. They move with agility, connect, transmit energy, tending to every tissue, repairing wounds, infusing life. This scene is not mere fantasy, it is a spiritual command. When repeated, the subconscious adopts it as a working plan, and the body brings it into reality. Studies in medical visualization have shown that cancer patients who pictured immune cells as warriors of light significantly improved their health. This confirms that the subconscious accepts imagery as truth, and the body responds accordingly. It also means you are not bound by the negative images unconsciously absorbed from society. You can rewrite your inner movie. Instead of seeing yourself old and weary, you can imagine every cell young and radiant. Instead of feeling your body as a burden, you can feel it as a garden ever in bloom. And as the new film is replayed again and again, the subconscious synchronizes with it, transforming it into tangible reality. Perseverance is the key. A fleeting image cannot create change, but a sustained vision rebuilds the architecture of the body. Just as dripping water can hollow stone, persistent imagery fused with emotion reshapes even long-damaged tissue. This is the power. You hold the power of visualization and regeneration. Every cell within you is always ready, awaiting only the right command. If you hold fear, they manifest weakness. If you hold light, they regenerate unceasingly. This proves that your body is not governed by time, but by the quality of the mental images you nurture. Pay heed to this daily, for you are the architect of the body, and the army of light awaits your design. Cellular visualization, process and proof. A 10-minute ritual at dawn or before sleep, sweeping light through the organs, thanking the cells. A healing case of skin disease through perseverance. There is a simple yet powerful practice that anyone can perform to reestablish the body and affirm enduring youth. It is the visualization of the cells for 10 minutes, either at dawn when the mind is fresh and untainted, or before sleep when the gates of the subconscious are wide open. Sit or lie comfortably, close your eyes, and take 3 deep breaths to ease yourself into stillness. Then envision a gentle light descending from the crown of your head, slowly sweeping through every organ. Wherever the light touches, picture that area glowing and the cells setting to work like joyful laborers. Begin with the brain, seeing the neurons sparkle like constellations in perfect connection. Move to the eyes as the light washes them clear and bright. Continue to the lungs, feeling each cell inhale new life and exhale the remnants of the old. When the light reaches the heart, imagine it as a radiant crimson lamp beating rhythmically, distributing vitality throughout the body, one by one: liver, kidneys, stomach, skin, flesh, all are bathed in light, renovated with delicate care. The key to this ritual is not only to see the image, but to offer gratitude to every cell when you silently say times thank you. Asterisk, you affirm that they are fulfilling their work perfectly. The subconscious receives that message and strengthens the body's belief. Gratitude raises the vibration, rooting the image more deeply. Though the ritual lasts only 10 minutes, its effects linger throughout the day. A striking case illustrates this truth. A woman who had suffered for years with a chronic skin condition found that no medication or therapy brought lasting relief. Her symptoms always returned. When introduced to cellular visualization, she resolved to practice it nightly before sleep. For 10 minutes, she envisioned her skin as a garden being washed by light. Every skin cell like a drop of dew, glowing, absorbing nourishment, restoring the surface. She thanked her skin each night as though it were already healed. After 3 months, her doctor was astonished to find the lesions gone and the texture of her skin restored. What had happened? The subconscious had accepted the new blueprint. She had consistently impressed upon it and executed it as command. The repeated image, charged with gratitude, had created tangible change. This is living proof that the body merely mirrors the script supplied by the mind. Practicing cellular visualization requires no special talent. You need not possess the vivid imagination of an artist. All that is needed is clear intent and persistence. Even if the images are faint at first, continued practice will sharpen them. For like a muscle, visualization strengthens with use. Each session engraves another layer of instruction upon the subconscious, and after enough repetitions, the subconscious accepts it as the standard and compels the body to conform. Choose dawn, when the mind is still unburdened by the day's noise, and images sink deeply into fertile ground, or choose the moments before sleep. As consciousness softens and the subconscious opens like a field awaiting seed. These are the two golden gateways you must use. Whether morning or night, the essence remains presence and gratitude. Treat those 10 minutes as a sacred ritual, a personal appointment with your own body. Let the light stream through every part of you. Let the words of thanks resound within. Your body will answer with renewal, with fresh energy, with radiant skin and vibrant breath, not because of any miracle from outside, but because you have given the subconscious a true and consistent design, and like a faithful craftsman, it has labored without rest, rebuilding the temple in which you dwell. Creative speech and effective affirmation. Words are the instruments that engrave commands into the subconscious. Formulas must be short, present, positive, and decisive. Use pocket affirmation cards and the rhythm of 50 repetitions. Words are not mere fleeting sounds. They are creative tools, chisels that carve deep commands into the subconscious. Each time you speak a phrase with belief, you are planting a seed in invisible soil, and the faithful subconscious will nourish that seed until it blossoms in your body and life. This is why the sages of old always emphasized the power of the spoken word. Scripture declares that times in the beginning was the Word, and the Word brought forth light. Asterisk, that law still holds in every breath today. Your words are the very light you shine into your body. For speech to become effective command, three principles must be observed. First, the formula must be brief, for the subconscious does not retain clutter. It engraves only what is sharp and clear. Second, it must be in the present tense, because the subconscious knows neither past nor future, only the now. Third, the words must be positive, affirmative, and free of negation. Do not say times I am no longer old. Asterisk for the subconscious will register the word times old. Asterisk say instead, I am filled with vitality and eternal youth. Asterisk. Do not say times I am not weak. Asterisk. But rather, I am strong and radiant. Asterisk. The difference seems small, but it creates results in opposite directions. A practical method is the use of pocket affirmation cards. Write by hand on a small card your central affirmation, such as times I am the expression of eternal youth. Asterisk or times, every cell in me shines with new energy. Asterisk, writing by hand, imprints more deeply upon the nervous system than typing on a machine. Carry the card with you. Read it when you wake. At midday, before sleep. And whenever your mind wavers, each reading is a watering of the spiritual seed. Another crucial point is rhythm. The subconscious does not change with a single hearing. It is reprogrammed by persistent repetition. This is why you must read your affirmation at least 50 times each night. In a state of relaxation before sleep, the number 50 is not superstition, but a rhythm strong enough to bypass the gate of doubt and enter the current of the subconscious. Just as a musician repeats a passage until the fingers remember without thought, you engrave upon the subconscious until the body itself responds with natural vitality. Remember, the difference between idle words and creative words lies in the emotion you pour into them. A casual phrase has no power, but an affirmation spoken with conviction, with will, with overflowing feeling, becomes a binding decree, impossible to resist. When you declare, I am youthful and brimming with energy, asterisk, as though commanding your army of cellular workers, every organ listens and adjusts. Creative speech also carries rhythm. Speak slowly, with emphasis, in harmony with your breath. Inhale deeply. As you receive the words, exhale as if breathing life into every cell. Then words cease to be sound and become a current of life force. If you persevere, you will notice the change. Within weeks, your outlook brightens. Your spirit strengthens. Within months, your health improves. Your resilience grows, and even your face shines with a new light. This is not coincidence, but the inevitable harvest of the commands you have sown. Regard each word you speak as a seed. Some sprout swiftly, others take time, but all are tended by the subconscious. Your task is to sow steadily, persistently, and with faith. Nature's law will do the rest. Do not underestimate this power. If a harsh word can crush your spirit in an instant, then a positive affirmation can restore the vitality of an entire life. Begin today with statements that are short, present, positive, and decisive. Write them down. Carry them with you. Repeat them 50 times before sleep, and you will see your body become the living replica of your words. Gentle self-hypnosis, a 15-minute, three-phase script of relaxation. Countdown and imagery. Entering alpha to bypass doubt and engrave the program of rejuvenation with evidence of progress. Gentle self-hypnosis is the art of leading the mind into deep relaxation in order to plant commands of renewal that the subconscious cannot resist. Contrary to the mistaken belief that hypnosis is loss of control, it is in fact a state of heightened awareness, for you consciously step into the alpha state, where the conscious mind loosens its grip and the subconscious opens wide like fertile soil, ready to receive a new seed. A 15-minute script is sufficient to bypass doubt, dissolve the inertia of reason, and engrave the program of rejuvenation into the very foundation of body and mind. The 3 phases of this practice, performed consistently, bring lasting effect. The first phase is full body relaxation, lasting about 5 minutes. Close your eyes, inhale deeply through the nose, hold for a few seconds, then exhale slowly. Repeat this 5 times. Then gently move your attention down to the feet, whispering inwardly, "My feet are warm and heavy." Asterisk. Let the feeling spread upward to calves, thighs, abdomen, chest, arms, neck, and face. As each part releases, you feel as though melting into the chair or bed. At this point, the brain waves shift gradually from alert beta into soothing alpha. The second phase is the countdown, lasting another 5 minutes, to descend deeper. Imagine stepping into a transparent elevator, moving from the 10th floor down to the first. Each number you silently count lowers you into deeper stillness within. At 10, feel your body heavier. At 9, the mind quieter. At 8, the breath more even. Continue down to 1, and you find yourself standing in a silent chamber, free of noise, filled only with calm. This is the fertile field where the subconscious waits to accept your image. The third phase is the planting of imagery and affirmations, lasting 5 minutes. In this state of deep rest, picture your body as a city of light. Each cell is a tiny lamp glowing, being rebuilt and renewed. See your heart beating steadily, like a radiant crimson lantern, your lungs breathing with ease, your skin clear and soft, your eyes bright and shining. Then softly declare affirmations short, present, and decisive. I am eternal youth. Infinite life is flowing through me. Every cell in me is reborn with strength and light. Asterisk. Speak slowly, with emphasis, as though commanding your loyal inner workers. This is the moment you embody the principle. This is the power of voice within. Not just a voice you hear, but a space you return to. Asterisk. Your inner voice becomes a river, nourishing and renewing every part of your being. When 15 minutes have passed, count slowly from 1 to 5 and open your eyes, sensing lightness and new vitality spreading within. Do not rush. Step forth with certainty that a blueprint of rejuvenation has been engraved in you. The effectiveness of gentle self-hypnosis has been confirmed by many. A woman in San Diego, convinced her aged skin was beyond recovery, began practicing this 15-minute script each night. After 3 weeks, her complexion brightened. After 3 months, Herr Dermatologist confirmed a remarkable improvement. A man in his 70s in New Orleans focused during hypnosis on walking steadily along a narrow plank. After 2 months, he regained balance and walked confidently without a cane. This is not miracle, but the inevitable obedience of the subconscious to the images and affirmations impressed upon it. The body cannot do otherwise, for the subconscious is the supreme architect, executing only the design you provide. With consistent practice, self-hypnosis becomes the key to the door of renewal. It enables you to pass through the barrier of doubt, dissolve the rigid prejudice of the conscious mind, and deliver commands directly to the subconscious, where the body takes its instructions for every cell. It is a gentle yet mighty tool, not forceful, not coercive, but guiding body and mind back to their primal state of freshness. And when you sustain this discipline, you will witness a rebirth not from outside, but from deep within yourself. Scientific prayer and daily renewal, not begging, but declaring already received, built on three elements: focus, emotion, repetition. With a specific bedtime prayer, scientific prayer is not the act of pleading with a distant power, but the firm affirmation of what already exists. It is not a cry of desperation, but the steady declaration of one who knows he is moving with spiritual law. When you pray rightly, you do not say, "Please grant me," asterisk, but rather, "I have received, I know it is done, and I give thanks for its manifestation," asterisk. The subconscious accepts such affirmation as an irresistible command, for it does not reason in terms of denial. It only builds according to the image deeply impressed with emotion. Three essentiels éléments définissent scientifique prayer: focus, emotion, and repetition. Focus means holding the idea steady without distraction, not praying while simultaneously thinking its opposite. Emotion is the stamp of energy that convinces the subconscious the image is unquestionable truth. Repetition is the watering of the seed, for a single planting rarely penetrates the soil of doubt. When these three unite, prayer ceases to be wishful thinking and becomes the creative force, the unveiling of a new reality. The moment before sleep is the most fertile time for such prayer. As consciousness grows weary, the subconscious opens wide like a vast field ready to receive the seed you sow. This is when you decide what blueprint your body will carry into tomorrow, what script your mind will follow. If you enter sleep with anxiety and images of decline, the subconscious will operate upon them all night. But if you enter with affirmations of renewal, the subconscious works as an invisible physician, laboring tirelessly to restore every cell. A simple and effective pattern of scientific prayer may be as follows. Before bed, sit quietly or lie comfortably. Breathe deeply a few times to calm the mind. Then, in silence or softly aloud, speak slowly, "Thank you, infinite intelligence, for every cell in my body vibrating with perfect health. My blood flows with vitality. My heart beats strong and steady. My skin glows clear and fresh. I know youth is being reestablished in me at this very moment. I sleep in peace and awaken in new strength." As you recite, attach clear imagery. See yourself radiant, eyes shining, steps firm, skin smooth. Do not say, "Times I will be well," asterisk, but "Times I am well," asterisk. Do not say, "Times tomorrow I will be young," asterisk, but "Times right now I am youthful," asterisk. The subconscious accepts only the present, never a promise of tomorrow. Then release it. Drift into sleep without strain or expectation. Trust the seed has been planted, and the law of the universe will do the rest. Many testimonies confirm this power. An elderly man, long afflicted with digestive trouble, practiced scientific prayer nightly, affirming, "My digestion functions smoothly and perfectly. I know infinite intelligence is regulating every function in my body." Asterisk. After 40 consecutive nights, he noticed marked improvement, and doctors confirmed the change without new medicine. This proves prayer is not vague entreaty, but the reprogramming of the subconscious. Remember, form matters less than spirit. You may write your own prayer, provided it is short, present, positive, and filled with sincere emotion. Persistence is the key. A scientific prayer repeated nightly carves a deep channel in the subconscious, and the body can do nothing but follow the new script. When you pray in gratitude, you live as though your affirmation is already real. Living in that reality opens the door for its embodiment. This is the fundamental difference between begging prayer and scientific prayer. One arises from lack, the other from fullness. One says, I do not have, please give asterisk. The other says, I have, I know it is present, asterisk. And the subconscious reflects only what you affirm as truth. When you grasp this principle, you understand why some heartfelt prayers fail. They are spoken in the language of want. But when you change the words, change the belief, change the image, the subconscious responds with renewal. For that is the law. Scientific prayer is your new covenant with the subconscious, so that each night, in sleep, you do not sink into unconscious darkness, but step into the silent workshop of renewal, where body and spirit are rebuilt at their roots. And when you awaken, you will carry living proof that the words you spoke before sleep have become visible reality. The journal of movement and the cycle of flowing goals, recording each motion, each surge of energy, each moment of gratitude to amplify, combined with a 90-day plan of service, learning, and creativity to sustain the current of youth. The journal of movement and flowing goals is not merely a notebook. It is a mirror reflecting the youthful image you are building. Each time you record a step, a gentle motion, a moment when the body felt energy, and you add gratitude, you magnify that experience and impress it more deeply into the subconscious. A simple act, such as climbing stairs without fatigue, becomes living proof that the body is renewing. Writing it down transforms a small moment into a great declaration. The subconscious does not distinguish between large or small. It only responds to what you emphasize repeatedly, and it multiplies it. This is why recording in a daily journal ensures that the youthful image is being programmed again and again. Alongside this, to sustain the flow of rejuvenation, you need a circulating plan where service, learning, and creativity form the three pillars. Establish a 90-day cycle divided into 3 domains. In service, choose something small that brings value to others. Help a friend, share knowledge, or simply listen with presence. In learning, select a new skill or field of curiosity to affirm that the mind remains supple and expansive. In creativity, launch a small project, write a few pages, paint a picture, tend a garden, or try a fresh idea. Each of these activities sends a clear message to the subconscious that life is expanding, that youth is an ongoing current and not a memory of the past. The key is circulation. Body and spirit were never designed for stagnation. Flowing water stays clear. Still water turns foul. When you serve, you give energy. When you learn, you absorb new energy. When you create, you shape energy into form. These 3 streams form a perpetual cycle, keeping the spirit from stagnation and the body from decline. Record daily in your journal what you did in each of these areas, and after 90 days you will see a map of youth drawn before you, where each page is proof of circulation. You may wonder whether such small things truly matter. The answer is yes. For the subconscious responds most strongly to repeated signals. A single line such as, "Times today I walked for 15 minutes with ease, and I thank my agile legs." Asterisk is a command of renewal. A phrase like, "Times today I read 1 page of a new book, and I feel my mind brighten." Asterisk is an affirmation that you are still expanding. These little entries, accumulated, become a great river that nourishes body and mind. Let me ask you, how long has it been since you paused to acknowledge a small movement of the body and gave thanks for it? Are you ready to begin today with just 1 page in your journal, recording a step, a breath, a creative spark to testify that youth is still flowing in you. If you are here listening, I know you are one who truly hungers for change. And I thank you for your presence, for it is the courage to notice, to write, to affirm, that forms the foundation of lasting renewal. When you commit to the Journal of Movement and the 90-day plan, you no longer drift through life in old patterns. You take command of its current. You become the conductor, refusing to let the body be dragged by social suggestion, instead leading it to the frequency of youth. And through each written page, you will discover a wondrous truth. Youth has never left you. It has only awaited your opening of the door to let it flow back in dynamic longevity testimonies, 3 stories of gardening, piano performance, and learning Greek in advanced age. The common thread is purpose, visualization, positive language, and disregard for age. There are simple yet resounding stories that stand as living proof that age is not a sentence, but merely a number passing on the calendar. What determines youth is the purpose you carry, the vision you nourish, the language you speak daily, and your ability to disregard the suggestions of limitation. The first is a farmer in California, 92 years old, yet tending his rose garden every day. He paid no attention to warnings about aging or frailty. He woke each morning with the clear thought, today I will plant another shrub, prune a branch, care for each bloom. When asked in an interview about the secret of his longevity, he simply smiled and said, I never thought of myself as growing old. I only thought of the many tasks still waiting to be done. Asterisk. That reply contains the very essence of a dynamic life. Purpose and love of work had replaced every notion of passing years. His body merely reflected that spiritual language, preserving his vitality and resilience. The second is a Polish-born pianist who only began to perform publicly in her 80s. Her youth was interrupted by war and hardship, and her dream of music seemed buried forever. But at 77, she rediscovered her old sheet music and chose to play again. Each day she sat at the piano, imagining her fingers agile as in girlhood, picturing audiences listening with rapt attention. 3 years later, she stood upon a great stage, her hands trembling with emotion yet striking the keys with strength, filling listeners with powerful melodies. What enabled her was not the youth of muscle, but the youth of faith and vision. She never said she was too old. She only said, I still have music left to play. The third is a retired professor in Oregon who, at 78, resolved to learn ancient Greek in order to read the scriptures in their original form. Friends and neighbors were astonished, some even dismissing it as impossible at his age. Yet he bought the books, drew up a study plan, and wrote each new word as earnestly as a child, learning letters. He envisioned himself conversing directly with the original text, tasting the freshness of knowledge each day. After 3 years, at 81, he could teach seminars on Greek, sharing his discoveries with the vigor of a youth newly encountering the world. He often said, old age does not exist in the mind. It appears only when you cease to learn. 3 lives, 3 different paths, yet they share unmistakable common threads. They lived with burning purpose, untroubled by clocks or calendars. They used positive language, never uttering words such as times my time is past, times or times I am no longer capable. Asterisk. They nourished vivid visions of themselves working, playing music, learning anew, and above all, they treated age as a mere statistic, never as a sentence. This choice opened the current of vitality within them, renewing their cells, keeping their minds clear and their bodies supple. Their testimonies stand as a powerful reminder that dynamic longevity does not come from luck, or mere heredity, but from the mental structure you sustain each day. If you hold a clear purpose, speak in positive terms, and envision yourself living fully, your body will respond, regardless of the number of years. Then each passing day is no longer a descent, but a new opportunity to plant another seed of life, purifying the inner spring in the science of forgiveness, detoxifying resentment, guilt, and fear through light visualization, formulas of release, writing and burning symbols, with a striking case of restored health. Purifying the inner spring is the prerequisite for sustaining every process of renewal. You may affirm positively, visualize youth, practice breathing, and keep journals, but if deep within there still lingers resentment, guilt, or fear, those poisons will seep into every cell and obstruct the current of rejuvenation. Negative emotions are not fleeting states. They engrave themselves upon the subconscious as distorted commands and manifest as depletion in the body. That is why spiritual science insists that true renewal requires forgiveness and release. Forgiveness in this sense is not condoning another's error, but detoxifying your own soul. To cling to resentment is to bind yourself to another with invisible cords. To forgive is to sever the cord and set your energy free. Forgiveness is a spiritual ritual, an act of self-healing. One simple yet potent method is the visualization of light. Each night before sleep, close your eyes and imagine the person who hurt you, or the memory that torments you, standing before you, surrounded by a radiant golden aura. Silently repeat the formula of release. I forgive and I am forgiven. I let go and I am free. I bless and I am blessed. Asterisk practice this for 15 minutes nightly. At first it may feel reluctant or hollow, yet gradually the subconscious replaces the tense image with one of reconciliation. This is the cleansing of the spring, making way for new energy to flow. Another technique is writing and burning symbols. Take time to write on paper every emotion, word, and memory that weighs on you. No need for polish, only honesty. Write until you feel emptied within. Then read the paper aloud to confront your truth. Finally, burn it in a safe vessel, watching the smoke rise as you whisper. This emotion has fulfilled its purpose. Now it is released. Asterisk. The physical act imprints powerfully upon the subconscious, signaling that the bond has been cut. As old energy departs, relief floods in, and the body begins to respond with visible change. A vivid testimony is that of a veteran who carried decades of bitterness, haunted by war dreams, his hands stiff with arthritis. Doctors declared no hope of reversal. Guided into the practice of forgiveness, he persisted in visualizing his offenders bathed in light while reciting the formula of release. Within 2 months, his sleep deepened, his hands eased, and swelling subsided. He wrote that forgiveness was like dropping a stone long crushing his heart. Once released, the blood of his body flowed freely again. His story proves that negative emotion is spiritual poison, and its removal brings bodily renewal. Purification is not only forgiving others, but forgiving oneself. Many drag the burden of guilt as an unseen chain, punishing themselves by replaying old errors. Yet the subconscious does not distinguish between past and present. It interprets repeated guilt as a command for perpetual recreation. Liberation requires a clear decree. I forgive myself. I choose to live in love and freedom. I am no longer bound by the past. Asterisk spoken with faith. These words become a command of release, dissolving inner shackles. The wonder of emotional cleansing is that it demands no harsh physical effort. It requires only the courage to face, the discipline to repeat visualization, and the constancy of spiritual practice. When the spring runs clear, Your face brightens, your eyes regain depth, your breath flows freely. The body itself becomes evidence that it mirrors the spirit, and when forgiveness becomes habit, you feel a new current of life surging, sustaining, unending youth. Always remember, this is the power of voice within. Not just a voice you hear, but a space you return to, asterisk. The inner voice that utters forgiveness is the very sanctuary where the soul rests and is reborn. It is not random sound, it is the regenerative voice, restoring you to your primal nature of clarity and youth. When you learn to cleanse the spring daily, youth is no longer something to be seized, but the natural state that rises from within, nurturing the imagination, the inner cinema twice a day, the vision board of youth, and the discipline of filtering inputs to build the blueprint of vitality for the body to follow. Imagination is the factory of images from which the body takes its design to build reality. No image in the mind is meaningless, for the subconscious accepts each one and turns it into a biological pattern. If you habitually picture decline, fatigue, or age, the body will faithfully reflect those pictures. But if you nourish imagination with scenes of vigor, freshness, and youth, every cell begins to reorganize itself according to the new design. This is why you must transform imagination into an inner cinema, where twice daily, once in the morning upon waking, and once at night before sleep, you project on the screen of your mind the moving pictures of youth. In that cinema, see yourself walking with supple steps, climbing stairs without fatigue, smiling with a radiant face, eyes clear as crystal, breath full of power. Let it not be a fleeting glance, but a full film with colors, sounds, and sensations. Feel the breeze upon your skin. Hear the steady rhythm of your heart. Sense your muscles alive with strength. The richer the detail, the deeper the impression, and the more surely the subconscious accepts it as reality. To strengthen the power of this inner cinema, you may create a vision board of youth, choose photographs, drawings, even words that describe the qualities of youth, and place them on a board where your eyes meet them daily. Each glance is a silent reminder to the subconscious of the model you are living, a picture of an older athlete, still agile, a gentle face with bright eyes, or a line of affirmation of vitality, all become material for the subconscious. The vision board is not only a reminder, but a window of fresh content, continually feeding the inner screen. The greatest discipline in nurturing imagination is filtering inputs. If each day you absorb pessimistic news, listen to tales of sickness and decline, or dwell with those who continually complain of aging, you are pouring poison into the inner cinema. The subconscious will adopt those films as its blueprint, and the body will replay them as weakness. You must become the gatekeeper, admitting only images, stories, and sounds of vitality. Read inspiring accounts of people creating. At 80, listen to uplifting melodies. Converse with those who speak positively. This is the pure material from which imagination constructs youth. When you sustain the twice daily screenings, nourish your vision board, and practice disciplined filtering, you are training the subconscious continuously with new patterns by law. The subconscious will transform these patterns into biological commands. Endocrine glands, nervous system, and cellular regeneration will synchronize with the images you project. This is no longer vague imagination, but a precise blueprint for the body to build youth. Remember, every great structure begins with a plan. Imagination is the plan, the subconscious, the architect, and the body, the structure rising each day. If you wish to see change on the outside, first redraw the picture within And that picture must be nourished steadily with discipline through radiant and life-filled images. The laboratory of nightly sleep, a bedtime ritual of reviewing the journal, affirming and visualizing the inner dawn. The subconscious builds the blueprint of restoration through the night, gradually renewing by law. Sleep is the secret laboratory of the night, where the body ceases its movement, but the subconscious works most intensely. When the eyes close and conscious thought is suspended, the subconscious assumes full command of the work of restoration. It is like an invisible team of engineers silently constructing the blueprint you delivered before drifting into dreams. If you leave behind fearful images, weary memories, or words of complaint, that is the plan. Your subconscious will labor over all night, producing by morning a body more depleted. But if you hand it a design of vitality, of youth, of inner dawn, you will see gradual change cells reconstructed according to the new model. The bedtime ritual is the key to transferring that blueprint. Begin by reopening your journal of movement from the day. Read the brief notes of how you walked with ease, breathe deeply, or maintained cheer, not to judge, but to affirm to the subconscious that the body is advancing. Each entry becomes a piece of evidence impressed once more into the depths. Then read your prepared affirmations, short, present, positive, and filled with conviction. For example, every cell in me is being reborn in the light of eternal life. I enter sleep with gratitude and awaken in youth. Asterisk, read slowly, feel each word as a clear command issued to the whole body. The final step is to visualize the inner dawn. Close your eyes, breathe evenly, and imagine in your chest a golden sun rising, warm and radiant. See it spread through your body, flowing into arms and legs, every organ, every vessel. Sense that this light is repairing, rebuilding, and breathing vitality into every cell. As the light fills you, surrender into sleep not with effort, but allowing the subconscious to take over and complete the work. In this moment, sleep ceases to be mere pause and becomes a ritual of rebirth. Biological studies confirm that most tissues undergo cycles of regeneration during deep sleep. Skin cells renew nightly. Growth hormone surges at night. The immune system strengthens as you rest. Yet all these processes are directed by the images and beliefs you feed the subconscious. If the plan you deliver is depletion, the body will build depletion. If the plan is vitality, the body will build renewal. This is law without favoritism, without exception. A woman in her 70s once complained that every morning she woke more exhausted than before sleep. Guided into this nightly ritual, she began reviewing her journal, repeating clear affirmations, and visualizing the dawn of light within. After 1 month, she noticed a transformation, waking with new energy, brighter skin, steadier steps, deeper sleep. This was not external intervention, but the direct effect of her subconscious constructing a new design in the night laboratory. The secret is consistency. A blueprint is only completed when maintained without interruption. Doubt or change in the plan halts the work. Therefore, make this ritual your nightly habit. As an architect reviews and refines a plan each day, so you hand over a clear design to the subconscious before sleep. In the morning, notice each small improvement, lighter breath, fear must hit, clearer thought. Each is a brick set in place, proof that the edifice of renewal is rising. Sleep is no longer passive rest, but creative action. You enter it with awareness, deliver the blueprint, and let the subconscious work. You no longer dread nightfall, but welcome it as a sacred service of repair. And each morning you rise not merely to face another day, but to emerge from the laboratory of night with a body renewed, a mind clarified, and a spirit rejuvenated. As you close this journey, remember that every cell within you is a faithful worker, building only according to the blueprint you provide. If you draw the image of decline, the body will obey. But if you draw the image of vitality, the subconscious will construct a temple of youth beyond every measure of age. From the sleep of night to the breath of morning, from the words you choose to the imagination you nurture, each detail is a silent river renewing you. Live as though youth is your natural essence, and the body will answer with freshness each day. Youth is never lost. It only waits for you to activate it. And when you live in this way, you are not useful for yourself alone, but a living testimony that the spirit truly triumphs over time.